2. Good morning, Rachelle Splatt, race Brett Hall with Rachelle Splatt, the lady of the moment. We're going to have a little debrief with Rachelle around how the last week went up in Sydney, but we'll just see whether or not any of you guys are sneaking out of work to hop on the phone and watch us. So we'll leave you a minute or so to build the audience while we just say good morning to Rachelle before we get into it. Good morning, Rachelle.
Hi, Brett.
As I said, we won't get into too many of the good questions until we get a few people online, and anyone who pops online, if you feel free to through either now or later when we set this up on Rachelle's page, and you can watch it if you want to pop a question in. We'll make sure that it gets through to Rachelle and she can give you guys an answer. Wow, we just jumped from 2 people to 36 people while I said
that. That's great.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I think 36 is a good number to start on. It's a couple of numbers of your race numbers. So we'll kick things off with awesome to see you this morning. Thank you so much for your time. I know that things out at Rachelle Splatt Racing headquarters are still manic after such a big weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just starting to feel normal again. Just starting to come down from the weekend and been in recovery mode for a few days, but yeah, feel really good and really excited about what we did, and yeah, can't wait to sort of work on our future plans and keep on going.
Excellent. All right, now for those who've been off social under a rock for the last, you've decided to come back to Top Fuel Racing. We were very fortunate to have your car launch in July on our ADRP Rockstars of Drag Racing showcase. You've been working hard to get back on the track since debuting the car.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of work, probably more work than what I anticipated to start with. So yeah, my guys have just put in a massive effort to just set a team up from scratch. Like, we actually had nothing at all, and we've done that in 6 months. And yeah, like I said, I think we were all wasn't aware of the all of the hard work that we had to do, and but we made it, and yeah, we're pretty sort of proud of ourselves once we got to the track and set up, and stood back and looked at the car and the setup, and yeah, they did an amazing job.
Awesome. All right, so going back to this time last week, or a little earlier even, thanks to you were able to head up to Sydney. You drove up on Tuesday with your son Dylan.
Yeah, so the guys left in the truck on Monday, and I jumped in my car with Dylan on Tuesday and drove all the way to Sydney on the Tuesday. Got out the car in Sydney. It was something like 45 degrees, so it was a bit of a shock. The guys were just, had been working all day on the car. Mike Domagala and Ron Douglas had arrived from America on the Tuesday morning and had come straight to the racetrack as well. So yeah, the guys were already hard at work, preparing everything and getting the car ready to start our testing week.
Awesome. All right. So 45 degrees greeting you. Thankfully, the crew had done all the hard work, and you were just the fly in, fly out. Not quite.
Not quite. But yeah, I was kind of glad I didn't have to get into the car on the Tuesday because of the heat. But it worked out that Wednesday was pretty much the same heat. So we had to go through a few processes of getting in and out the car, and just for the licensing, and luckily by the time we took the car out on the track for the first time, it had cooled down a little bit to in the 30s, which was still pretty warm, but yeah, I was glad it cooled down, because I was sort of a bit concerned about getting in the car for the first time in 10 years in 40 plus degree heat.
So that's a great segue. You've mentioned the first time in 10 years. You did have to go through the traditional blindfold test and the relicensing, because it's intense you've been in one of these.
Yes, I did. I had to go through all of that. And so, yeah, we did the blindfold test in the 40-degree heat on the Wednesday morning, which, you know, I wasn't too worried about going through the whole process again. I knew I'd feel really comfortable in the car. I just feel at home in the race car. And as soon as I jumped in, it was just everything came back. It was like I just, stopped racing, So yeah, everyone was really happy with how everything went and all the tests, and yeah, it was all pretty straightforward.
Jumping forward a little in the schedule of the questions I want to ask you, you've just prompted me on your face when you came back after your first pass. You were like a kid in a candy store, so you what comfortable where you were.
Exactly. Yeah, like of course, it'd been such a long time, so I was a little. I just didn't know how my body and my mind was going to take it when I first jumped in and launched this car. But yeah, I was just, on the start line doing the start line procedure as, the burnout and backing back and staging. And I really didn't even have to think about it. It was just a natural process for me. And just that first launch was, I can't even explain it. It was just, I didn't realize how much I missed racing. And, I was so happy. I was like jumping around in everyone's arms at the end of the racetrack. And it was just a 330-foot launch. But yeah, just to do that and just to be in it and experience that feeling again was, something that was pretty unbelievable. And I was so happy.
So it was just like riding a bike. It just happened to be a bike that gets to over 100 miles an hour in less than a second in 60 feet.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like that.
First pass, it was obviously a planned burnout and quarter track. I think neither of us have been able to round up our time. So the memory was fairly soggy after that long week. But
yeah,
I think it went really hard to 330, and you shut it off as per the hold through still for, I think, a 770 ET. So that's faster than most supercharged outlaw cars today, and you only had the throttle open for two or 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy the acceleration on these cars. It's they're amazing.
Now, obviously on Wednesday the rain came after the heat, and that put paid to any more testing for you on Wednesday, and we had to wait until 2 o'clock Thursday for you to get the weight building the anticipation. So keen just to get.
It was. It was. We were all pretty keen to get back out on the track. But yeah, the rain came, and we had to wait for the rain to go. And so yeah, by the time everything cleared up, as soon as it was clear and dry, we headed straight back out for our second license pass. Which ended up going to plan. It was a planned half track shut off pass. So yeah, we took the car exactly to half track, maybe slightly a little bit further, and it went great, and everything went perfect as well. And I think we went through the lights at about 5:29.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Yeah, just over 250. I think it was 251 mile an hour at half track. So yeah, we were pretty happy with that to achieve that, and that was just a half track pass. So yeah, we were all pretty excited about how the car went on that pass also.
Cool. So you were ticking boxes for the next run. Nicole's been frantically popping some questions in here that your fans are asking. The first one's a scary one. Is racing in the States.
Sorry, what was that, Brett?
So the first question that has come through is will you be racing in America soon?
Well, I would love to race in America one day again. that would be definitely a dream come true. Right now, I just want to concentrate on, setting myself up in Australia, getting some, finding my feet here and getting some races under my belt, and, just enjoy the racing here with, my race family. I just feel like I'm back with everybody again, and it just feels so good. And, but yeah, if the opportunity comes up to go to America again, definitely would be something that I would jump at.
Well, you were the first lady in America. Very big target personally to be the first lady to go 300 mile an hour in Australia. So we'll tick that box off before we lose you back to the States.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
Another one, do you miss racing at Calder? And I think we've covered that fairly well, that you miss racing full stop.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I've missed racing. I did stop racing for an important, reason, and that was so I could just focus on my family for a while, and I just felt like I needed that. And but it's just given me just sort of new enthusiasm and drive to get back into racing and achieve so much more.
Okay. An interesting one that I haven't broached with you before is, how does your body feel after all that G-force?
It actually held up very well. Considering I don't get into the gym very much, just due to being so busy with kids. Probably the only thing that I'm feeling is, I was in the car for so long on Saturday, just due to a few hiccups and hold-ups. So, just being strapped in so tight, and I can feel a little bit tender in the back. But I actually feel very good. My neck feels good, which has probably got a lot to do with the hands device as well. So, I actually feel surprisingly really good.
Excellent. All right, let's get back to Thursday afternoon. Your second hit on for a full pull, as we call it, or a complete quarter mile. How did that transpire?
Yeah, okay. So we were going out, and it was going to be our full pass, and I was so looking forward to just doing a full pass and seeing what the car can do, and maybe we might have been able to hit that magical 300 mile per hour mark in our license pass. But the car went really well. Probably about just before 1,000 foot, the blower belt come off. So obviously, car stops, didn't go across the finish line under full power. We ran a 5:07, which I think was pretty good. We calculate that it was probably about a 4.80 pass at maybe around 290 mile an hour if the blower belt didn't come off. So we were pretty happy with that outcome. Really wish that we could have done that full track pass just to say that we've done that, but it just wasn't to be. The blower belt didn't want to hold in.
Yeah, well, we did some calculations too, and as you said, based on it went 254 mile an hour to half track on that pass, lost the belt at about 1,000 feet, and only coasted across the line, I think, at 220 miles an hour. So you certainly were well into that 580s, that was for sure. Now, the bad luck continued after that, unfortunately, on race day.
Yeah, it was a tough day. Really tough day. It was a lot of work. My guys did a great job getting through the day. We went out for the first non-compulsory test run at 12, which was, also a planned full track pass, just to get that done and just to say that we've done a full track pass and see what it can do. But then again, it just started to nose over. Just didn't feel right. I could just hear that it wasn't, the engine wasn't too happy. So again, about 1,000 foot, I had to sort of shut off as well.
Okay. And then first round of competition in 10 years in front of a great crowd at Sydney Dragway. I honestly can't even remember who you were racing against.
Wayne Newby.
Ah, well, just take, that's not a bad place to start.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
And again, the track was fairly hot. You guys obviously were trying to win that race. Your first time back in the heat of the moment competition. Tell us a little about that run.
Yeah, so yeah, it was it was a big day, and I felt a lot of pressure. But I've felt that before, and I've been in this position before, so I just kept to sort of telling myself that, and once I get in the car, I'm just so comfortable and so at home in the car that once I'm strapped in, I'm focused, and all the overwhelming thoughts that you can sometimes get sort of disappear. But it was amazing to be there on race day, just with the crowd and just the hype of it. You know, it was just an amazing experience. I was so happy to be there, and I was really hoping that that everything was going to go great, and we possibly might even be able to win this race. But again, the car started. It took off really good. It started off really well. Started to smoke the tyres, started to move around a tiny bit, but I was sort of pretty keen to get it to the finish line without lifting. So I kept on going and kept driving it, and the engine didn't really like that very much. So we had a few major issues from that. I probably should have got out of the race a little bit earlier than what I should have, but it was kind of like determined to get this car from start to finish, and but we kind of had a bit of work to do after that run, to fix a few things. We lost another blowout, which also damaged other parts on the car as that came off, and we had a lot of work to do after that run. There was the motor just did not like what I did to it.
Well, I think you're being a little hard on yourself. It was the heat of the moment. You didn't do that much damage. The Braun took a few things with it. So your new fresh crew worked really hard to get the car back on track. You missed second round, towed out for third round. And again, they say, you've got a $500,000 race car and a 25-cent part hurts you. You guys, again, had another couple of little issues.
Exactly. It was a crazy day. Like, things were happening that I'd never experienced in my whole years of racing. Just and it was all happening at once. It was just we were just plagued with just issues all day of just things popping up. So we were on the line, ready to start racing Dom Lagana, which I was really looking forward to. I was really excited about lining up next to him, and really looking forward to the run. And just for some reason our battery just would not start the car, but was perfectly fine in the pits and in the warm up. So it was just dead. So, the guys were frantically, trying to get it started while Dom was, doing his burnout. And I was kind of like, start this car, hurry up. I need to hurry up and get out and do this burnout so I can be in this race. But, they just couldn't get it started. Dom Lagana had a buy run. We asked if we could do an exhibition pass, just because we wanted to we wanted more data, and I wanted more practice, and we wanted to just do this run. So we asked if we could do that. So that was fine. So we let all the other cars run before us, and then pulled out as last car to race down the track. And just a silly little 5-cent nut on the throttle stop had just worked its way down and just wouldn't allow the car to do a burnout. It's like the butterflies were just jammed shut. So that was the first issue. Just the car wouldn't do a burnout. But then in my mind, I was thinking, that's okay, that's fine. I'm just going to back it back and we'll just do this run without a burnout. So when I did stop, we've been having a lot of problems with our injector hat. So just sucking a lot of air in, bringing the RPM up. So I could hear that the RPM was up really high and I couldn't get it in reverse. So I just kept trying to get it in reverse. The guys ran down and they were, frantically trying to push the car back for me. So I put the clutch in and they're trying to push the car back. But at that point, the car was trying to drive through the clutch. Like if I didn't have the brake on, the car was actually trying to go. So yeah, the clutch wasn't working too good, so they couldn't push it back. Yeah, because I just wanted to get back and it was still staged and still, quite possibly could have, done quite a good run without the burnout. So, but yeah, we couldn't get the car pushed back. It started to just drive through the clutch. So I ended up they just indicated just drive it down the track and sort of get it off the track, which was absolutely, I was pretty gutted. Like I was, just really disappointed, for the crew not to see, the car with all the hard work they did all day long. Like they worked so hard through so many problems. And, just to sort of finish the night like that, it was, pretty disappointing. Yeah, so we kind of went back to the pits after that and, sort of moped around for a little while.
Licked your wounds and sort of,
Yeah.
We chatted the other day before this interview about the fact that you thought perhaps it wasn't the world's best debut, but the reality, 250 plus to half track a couple of times. The car's all still in one piece. The engine actually is still all in one piece. And your crew and you have debuted, got some experience, and be stronger for the next outing.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I've sort of probably been a little bit tough on myself. I just wanted to come out and just sort of like, I don't know, I wanted to do really well. I mean, I know what you're saying, Brett, and you're exactly right. Like I haven't driven for 10 years. I've come out, I've got my license, first go. I felt comfortable. I was throwing a lot of curveballs while in the car that I haven't experienced before. And, I felt calm and in control. And the car went really well, other than, things that you can't control. You just can't control blower belts. There's a lot of things that you just can't control. You can do everything you can to make sure, the car's right when you go out there. But then, these cars you just can't control every component. And so, it was just those things that was sort of throwing at us. And the guys, like for their first time out, really, like they got so much practice of all the things that could go wrong, and they worked so hard that, it's probably going to be a real benefit, for next time when we go out to race. They've experienced so much just in 1 week. And I'm really proud of them. Like they just did an amazing job. And, we did come home, like you said, we've come home and we've done some, amazing numbers and, just didn't get the car to do a full pass. That's probably, the one thing that I was sort of disappointed on myself about. But, that's the life of a nitro car. You can just never know what they're going to do.
More questions that have come in. What do the kids think of you back in the car? And it's fairly well documented. You've got 5.
Yeah, well, I had 2 with me, my daughter Kayla and my son Dylan, and they absolutely loved it. But I think they were, by the sounds of it, from what I was told, they were pretty nervous, and they kind of had to be calmed down a little bit while they were watching. And there was a few tears from them, after each race. But I can remember being like that when my dad raced also. It's and I can understand that, but they love it. And, they've already said they're not going to miss a race.
Awesome. Now, we've got one here. Your favourite racetrack in it? Do you have one?
Well, I'd have to say, if you're talking about older racetracks, my favourite racetrack would have been the older Eastern Creek racetrack. It's a love racing there. Yeah, just sort of great atmosphere, and you've got just the way the track was, and how it went uphill at the finish line, and I just felt really, and probably because that's where I got my license too. So I actually had done so many runs there, practicing for my license. I just became really comfortable with that track. So that was probably my favorite racetrack. And
Okay.
yeah, probably the most the track that I spent the most time at other than that was Calder Park. So yeah, got lots of great memories from there also.
Now, I'll jump totally off program here, and you've brought Calder Park up. We're very fortunate to be able to have you as a special guest on the weekend at Calder, thanks to ADRP, ourselves, Mags Racing, and the Speedflow Pit.
Yeah. Really looking forward to that. Yeah, can't wait to get down there and see some top fuel racing at Calder Park. Would have loved to have been there if we were just a little bit, sort of further along in our sort of establishment of our team and our setup. But yep, hopefully we can get there really soon, and maybe the nationals next year we can set our sights on. And but yeah, looking forward to this weekend and catching up with everyone in Melbourne that wants to come out and say hello, and yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
I'm sure that a signed poster and some Rachelle Splatt merchandise will be a great start, but they all would want to see you on the track, but as you work toward that. So two questions that sort of roll into one. Somebody's asked around the car specifications, and leading off from that, a question around, can you feel the older chassis car that you're driving in the States and even here 10 years ago versus the current car that you're driving now? What are the big differences?
To be honest, I really don't feel a big difference at all. As far as driving it, still you drive it the same, feels the same. Probably the big difference now, coming back now, is just the higher level of safety equipment that you need to have now, compared to when I raced before. There's the molded seat, for example, and the hands device, and just all the padding around your head and the shield. You just feel more enclosed and sort of like much tighter and part of the car than what you did before. That's probably about the only difference that I sort of feel now. But as far as driving the car, to me, it feels the same.
Okay. All right. And the last question, which was one of mine, but it's come through as well. What's next on the calendar? When are we going to see Rachelle Splatt back on track, and what's that program looking like?
Yeah. Okay. So, firstly, I just want to sort of go back a little bit and, just say a really, really big thanks to Ovo Mobile. They're the reason that, I was able to, put my plans in place. I wanted to come back racing, but obviously we rely on sponsorship and, because of the cost of running these cars. And, for them to put their trust in me, after being out of the car for so long, still had to relicense and then compete sort of 2 days after the whole license process. I'm actually, so grateful that they, put their trust in me to know that I could do that, I was up for the challenge and I was able to, to represent them and, so and just for them to get behind me to get on the track just means so much, and I wouldn't have been there without them. So, I'm so grateful to Ovo Mobile for doing that. So from here on end, obviously planning race by race. We would love to be at all of them, but again, it's going to depend on what sponsorship we get. So we're working really hard, you know, behind the scenes. I've got people working right now of, you know, trying to secure, you know, funds to go to the next race, which is April, and would love to be at all of the races, the next 3 races. So yeah, now I've been in the car. That's it. I just want to get back in straight away. So I'm going to be doing my, you know, my best to make sure that we're at the other races. But yeah, it's definitely going to all be determined on sponsorship and funding.
Okay, so we've got April at Willowbank, May Nitro Champs at Sydney, and then of course the 50th anniversary of the Winter Nationals in June up at Willowbank. So I'm sure that everybody online and all of your fans would be wishing you the very best of luck to get those marketing parts to put Rachelle Splatt Racing back at the front of the pack and see you on track again as much and as soon as possible.
Yeah, that would be great. You know, like I've still got that 300 mile per hour barrier that I want to, you know, get done, and you know, I'm really eager to get back out on the track and sort of achieve that as soon as possible, and you know, just sort of, you know, get back to, you know, our competitive ways, and you know, I know that we can do it, and the team have really got it in them. They've shown that they're a fantastic team that work together. And along with Ron Douglas, who's going to continue on with us on the team, which I'm really happy with. Yeah, I think that, you know, we are going to be a competitive team that can go out and win. So yeah, just sort of can't wait to get that all together. And it's only, you know, going to be the next 1 or 2 races that we'll have all of those little things that sort of plagued us last weekend all sorted out, and yeah, we'll be back out there and ready to go.
All right, I know you've got a lot of work to do both on the car and off the car. Thank you so much for your time this morning, giving your fans a bit of an interaction with how your weekend was. I know we were inundated over the weekend and since as to how did she go, what did it do, when are we going to see it next. Answer some of those questions for the guys, and if they stay tuned to all of your social channels, I'm sure we'll keep them up to date. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me on, Brett. Thank you.
No worries. Ciao.
Bye.
Well, there you go, guys. A quick wrap up of Rachelle Splatt Racing's weekend or week in Sydney. Both on ADRP and here on Rachelle Splatt Racing's pages, keep you up to date with all of the advancements in where she's going next. See you all out at Calder for the Nationals, and come and say good day to Rachelle in Mags Racing's Top Alcohol Pit. Ciao, guys.